Not used to having a podium in this room. Everyone can take a seat. There's some empty ones if you want to come and sit down. I'd like to welcome everyone today. We're really excited to host this event. It was last minute, but we were really happy to do it at our main farm facility. This is our head office, and we're really proud to showcase what we do here at King Cole. So thank you all for coming. We've been in business for over 66 years. Our grandparents started the business, and we are now currently third generation. I run the business with my sisters. Patty's here with us in the back. She's our VP of Sales and Marketing. And my sister Jackie and Robin are both in our live operations department, so they're out working today. And we are actually embarking on our fourth generation, so it's pretty exciting. It's a challenge, and we have, I think, 2 full-time hires. The fourth generation has worked for years in the business part-time and dabbled, but they're officially joining us now, so we're mentoring them in the next phase. It's our strong family values and commitment to the business that I think has helped us to build and grow our business, so we're pretty pleased about that. We are unique in the poultry industry because of our vertical integration. So many people say, what does that mean? For us, it means that we breed, we hatch, we grow, we further process, and then we distribute and market our duck products to markets all over the world, so fresh and frozen and value add, the whole gamut. Our vertical integration really does give us it's really special for us because we are able to ensure all areas. We can look after animal welfare, nutrition, traceability, food safety, all the things that are really, really important. We have control of all of that, so that's a really good thing for us. And you probably all know this, but Canada is really highly respected in the world market for its food safety. It's a trusted food source if it comes from Canada, so we should all be really, really proud of that. And it's fitting today that we're here with the Minister of Environment because that is something that's been near and dear to our hearts for many, many years. We say it's in our DNA. Our grandfather started with tree planting probably 45 years ago. We have all kinds of different initiatives that are all eco-friendly and green. We recycle 2/3 of our water. We compost our liquid and dry manure. We turn that into a soil enhancer. We wash and dry our feathers, and they go into clothing and bedding. And everything on the duck, it's a zero waste policy. Everything gets used from the tongue to the toe. So it's a really great, it's fun actually to be coming up with new ideas of what we can do with things. So it's quite exciting for us. And those are only some of the examples that we have that I've talked about. The word sustainability is always a buzzword in this day and age, but it is something that has been a driver for us for decades. So we're feeling like we're in the right place right now. We are in a niche business sector. There are not a lot of proven technologies and standards for best practices in the duck world. I mean, there's lots of chicken and turkey, but there's not a lot for ducks. So we have to be creative and innovative to come up with ideas and different ways to do things. So it's always interesting, and it's a continual learning process, but we're really excited to be in it and be part of it. And, for us to improve and grow as an Ontario agribusiness, that's what's important. So I think programs like what we're going to hear about today is really what we need to be focused on. So thank you. I'm going to now introduce Helena Jaczak. She's our MPP for Oak Ridge's. Come on up.
Thank you so much, Debbie, and it really is a pleasure to be here and that the Ontario Centres of Excellence and the Minister of the Environment and Climate Change have chosen this location for this important announcement in my riding. And I speak advisedly. I first got to know King Cole Ducks when I was the Medical Officer of Health for York Region, and I've seen this particular establishment just grow and flourish in the last 30 years. And the commitment, we sort of loosely call them the girls, the third generation girls. The girls have taken King Cole Ducks to a whole new realm in terms of their international market as Debbie's explained, the whole vertical integration, the sustainability, the total commitment to this. And in fact, we invited MPPs a couple of summers ago to do a summer tour of King Cole Ducks to learn a little bit more about the agri-food business. So it really is wonderful to be here. Now, my important role is to introduce my friend and colleague and neighbor, the Minister of Environment and Climate Change, the Honourable Chris Ballard. Chris and I have worked very closely. He was the Minister of Housing and Poverty Reduction. I'm the Minister of Community and Social Services. So we've had to work very closely together. And I know him to be just totally dedicated to this new portfolio and bringing the proceeds of our excellent cap and trade program. I was actually, just a little aside, I was parliamentary assistant to 3 ministers of the environment before I became a minister. And originally that whole enabling legislation for cap and trade was something that I carried through the House and through committee. And as we all know, cap and trade's a little complicated, but we certainly became firmly committed that this is the best way for Ontario going forward. Anyway, my colleague Chris Ballard is continuing the excellent work that has been established by our government, and I think we're now beginning to see some of the projects on the ground that will actually bring home to people what we're talking about in terms of our fight against greenhouse gases, our contribution to the havoc being, in fact, waged by greenhouse gases and climate change. And so now we've got some tangible products coming out, some new initiatives that I think will really help people understand what we're doing in terms of this particular business, sustainability, and technology. So with no further ado, Chris Ballard.
Well, thank you, Helena. And we've had a wonderful rivalry for years about this place because the address used to be Aurora, and I'm the MPP for Newmarket Aurora, but the physical location is in Helena's riding. But I used to rub it in that, no, it's really Aurora. It says, but now they've changed the address to Stouffville? I can't use that. That's, what more? There's, I'll blame Canada Post for that. There's, we'll find other things we can argue about in future about our adjoining ridings, both of which are fantastic ridings, made even better by facilities like King Cole Ducks. And I know you come back to your day as medical officer of health. I remember driving here a million years ago with my dad to pick up the annual truckload of compost because it made our roses, or my father's roses, grow about this high. So that's where we go back to those days. So thank you. It is good to be back here. I'm so impressed every time I come here to learn about what you're doing, to see the vertical integration and the products that you have upstairs. And this building, I think, is a fantastic building. It's a great showcase for what you're doing and for York Region, really. I'm pleased that we're joined today by Parminder Sandhu, who's the chair of the board of directors of Green Ontario, the Green Ontario Fund, and someone inserted in my welcome that I'm supposed to say, I'm glad I could duck in for a quack visit. Take note, he's fired. Actually, I think, okay, I inserted that, but it's a good fun. You know, I was trying to come up with all the duck jokes, but you've heard them all. You've never heard them all, so we'll just stop right there. In a few minutes, I just want to share some really exciting news about 2 programs, Green on Agriculture and Green on Food Manufacturing. But first, I want to acknowledge that we're on the traditional lands here of Indigenous peoples dating back countless generations. And I personally, thank Ontario's Indigenous peoples for agreeing to support Ontario as we embark on a shared journey of reconciliation. And as a Minister of Environment and Climate Change, I really appreciate the Indigenous whole earth perspective of the environment. It's one that I and Premier Kathleen Wynne and my ministry have embraced. It's really it's a perspective that is so important during a time when we're all coming together to fight climate change. And and I know the work that your dad started here many years ago, and I appreciate that. So a word about climate change. We know Ontario residents are anxious about the threat of climate change. They're concerned about the impact on our economy at a time when we're facing many challenges from technology and global competition. A creative disruption is underway to our economy, and it's accelerating. New technology is driving changes across the industrialized world. As we adapt to this new industrial revolution, one driven by technological change, the legacy of our carbon-powered economy is one that we also have to manage. People know that climate change is real. They see what's happening all around us with increasing floods, more intense storms, shorter winter road seasons, and an increase in vector-borne diseases. I'm far from alone in seeing climate change as the greatest threat to our security and our future prosperity. This is why the next industrial revolution, this is the one we're all embarking on together right now, must be a low-carbon revolution. Our approach to help stimulate that transition can be summed up simply: cap and invest. We are capping the amount of greenhouse gas pollution that can be emitted and investing the proceeds from our carbon market into projects that further reduce pollution and help make life better for Ontario residents, like the programs we're announcing today. We chose the cap and invest plan because it guarantees reductions every year as the cap on pollution decreases, and because it delivers those reductions at the lowest cost for families and businesses. With the Climate Change Action Plan's 90-plus measures, we're investing in Ontario's low-carbon economy, reducing our dependency on imported fossil fuels, and creating good, clean, local jobs as a result. By linking our carbon market with both Quebec and California, we've joined the best-in-class carbon market, according to Ontario's independent Environment Commissioner. To date, we've held 4 carbon market auctions, generating more than $1.9 billion in proceeds. And I'll remind you, we're required by law to invest every penny into projects that prevent or reduce greenhouse gas pollution, like the ones we'll be talking about in a minute. One of the signature investments of our carbon market is the Green Ontario Fund. It's a one-stop shop to help Ontario residents and businesses fight climate change and save money. We'll invest $377 million from our carbon market proceeds in the Green Ontario Fund this year, and up to $2.3 billion by 2020. So far, we've announced more than $1 billion worth of investments that reduce greenhouse gas pollution and other nasty air contaminants, while at the same time helping make life easier and better for Ontario residents. The investments are improving social housing, upgrading our schools, making bike lanes more common, supporting Indigenous communities, improving patient care, modernizing industry, piloting innovative clean technologies, partnering with municipalities, and helping residents improve their homes. And now with today's announcement, helping our agricultural community upgrade their production and processing facilities. I'm happy to introduce the 2 latest programs under the Ontario Green Fund, Green on Agriculture and Green on Food Manufacturing. A bit about Green on Agriculture. It's a $7.25 million program that will help Ontario farm businesses adopt cleaner technologies and reduce greenhouse gas pollution from their operations. It will support businesses that produce agricultural commodities in permanent climate-controlled buildings like greenhouses, grain dryers, swine or poultry barns, similar to the kind you can find here at King Cole Ducks. Eligible farm businesses will be able to get 35% of costs up to $500,000 to upgrade their operations. Green on Food Manufacturing is a $3.7 million program that focuses on the food and beverage processing industry. It supports reductions in emissions through proven technologies, including improvements to energy, water, and resource efficiency. But it's also supporting the use of new technologies like those being used in pilot projects. Programs like these are not just fighting climate change, but also seizing the opportunities of this new industrial revolution. You know, Ontario is home to about 3,000 clean tech companies. Those companies employ about 65,000 Ontarians and generate about $8 billion a year in revenues. 10 years ago, not many of us had heard about clean tech. Today, our companies are exporting $1 billion worth of made-in-Ontario solutions each and every year. It's been a fantastic success story made right here in Ontario. Our plan to cap and invest is spurring the development of new clean technologies, bringing jobs and economic benefits in the growing global markets for climate-friendly products. Maybe it can even help our local ducks fly across the global market. Who added this stuff? This is, now that I have run afoul, it's really time to duck out of, so I'm so sorry. I love puns, so, you know, I'll read these. Seriously, these really are exciting times for Ontario. People from all walks of life, businesses and industries are coming together in new ways to transform the way we use energy, make life easier for Ontario residents, and create unheard of opportunities for this province. And programs like Green on Agriculture and Green on Food Manufacturing are a big part of that transformation. The agricultural and food manufacturing sectors play a huge role in the health and prosperity of our province. These programs that I've just announced will help them play an equally important role in the shared fight against climate change and fight for a better future for our province and our world. And frankly, that's what we're all here for. I appreciate your company giving us this space once again. Delighted to be here. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you, Minister Ballard, for the great message and the jokes. And MPP Malena, thank you very much for your words. I'd now like to introduce Parminder Sandhu, right here in front of me. He's with the Green Ontario Fund, Green On, so come on up.
Well, I don't have any prepared remarks, but appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys. First time I'm actually visiting your facility here, so marveled at not only the success of your business, but how you've kept 3 generations, 4th generation now, in the family business. That's an amazing accomplishment. I just want to echo Minister Ballard's remarks that we're very excited about the agriculture program as well as our food manufacturing program. I think the local food production is very critical to climate change. We can't have trucks running across North America delivering food. The more food we get produced locally is very, very important for us. So welcome all of your guys' participation and all the food manufacturers and agricultural businesses in Ontario to participate in this particular program. We'll make an impact on climate change and the GHG emissions in the province and create sustainable jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, Parminder. Next, we have Tom Kaur from the Centre of Excellence.
Well, thank you, and just bear with me for one sec. The minister is obviously very knowledgeable about this sector, and he's going to make me look like a quack. So, no, all right. Well, I try.
Don't run afoul.
No, I won't run afoul of anything. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of Ontario Centres of Excellence, I would like to thank you for joining us today. It's very exciting to be here at King Cole Ducks, to be part of the announcement of the Green on Food Manufacturing Program, along with our partners from the Ministry of the Environment and Climate Change, Green On, and the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs. Green on Food Manufacturing follows a successful launch in December of Green on Industries, which is focused on the reduction of greenhouse gas pollution from large industry emitters. It also builds on the success of Target Greenhouse Gas an industry-focused greenhouse gas pollution reduction program launched in February of 2016, which OCE continues to work with and administer on behalf of the Government of Ontario. As many of you know, Ontario's food and beverage processing sector is vital to the provincial economy. With more than 3,000 businesses, the sector generates approximately $41 billion a year in revenues, provides over 130,000 direct jobs, and exports $7.6 billion in product annually. In fact, Ontario has the second largest food and beverage manufacturing sector in North America. Correspondingly, it means the potential to make meaningful reductions to the environmental impact of this sector is considerable. That is why the province is launching the Green on Food Manufacturing Program. This initiative will focus on helping food and beverage producers and processors reduce their greenhouse gas pollution, increase their resiliency, adapt to climate change, and transition to a low-carbon economy. Ontario Centres of Excellence is pleased to help administer the Green on Food Manufacturing Program on behalf of Green Ontario Fund and OMAFRA. For those of you who may not be familiar with OCE, initiatives like this is really our sweet spot. For over 30 years, OCE has been working on behalf of the Government of Ontario to facilitate collaboration between SMEs and industry, accelerate innovation, and help launch the next generation of products, processes, services, and jobs. Whether it's digital media and ICT, health tech, fintech, advanced manufacturing and materials, or clean tech, OCE is a champion of co-investing on behalf of the province to commercialize innovation. In partnership with industry, OCE accelerates leading-edge technologies and best practices, as well as research emerging from Ontario's publicly funded colleges, universities, and research hospitals. Today's announcement is timely. Ontario is home to almost 40% of Canada's population, and the food and beverage manufacturing and processing sectors are critical to the food security of all of us. But food security is about more than food. It is also about clean water, air, soil, and a climate that is supportive of food production. That is why the Green on Food Manufacturing Program is a great addition to Ontario's innovation ecosystem. It is building the capacity and strength of the food and beverage manufacturing and processing sectors as drivers of innovation. We look forward to continuing to work with our partners from the Government of Ontario to help drive the transition to a low-carbon economy, create high-quality jobs, and enhance Ontario's competitiveness around the globe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Now for the remainder of the program, I think we're going to have a question and answer period, but before we do that, we're going to have the speakers come up for a photo op, quick photo op, and then after we'll follow up with the question and answers, and then there's refreshments for everybody. So if you want to come up for a picture. All right, so do we have any questions from anybody? I'm sure there's some plants in the audience. Come on. For anybody. I know, the food is good. I'm going to tell you, the duck is delicious. So anyhow. No, for anybody. Tom, Chris, Parminder, Helena. No, you're all in good position. Okay, is that it? Okay. Oh, wait a minute, we got one.
The space was
When is it going to be rolled out that people can start applying for it? It's open now.
It's open right now.
Okay.
Greenon.ca is a great place to start.
Yeah.
For any of our programs, whether household, homeowner, business owner, start at greenon.ca.
So the agricultural part of it is open now?
Yeah.
What does this announcement have to do with King Cole ducks? Like, are you
No.
planning to tap into the program?
Well, I don't really know what it is yet, so we just heard about it right now with you. So I think this came up about very quickly this week. They were looking for a facility, and my good friend Avia Eek had thought about us. I'm the president of the Lake Simcoe Conservation Foundation, so we sit on that board together. And when she heard about the program and saw a little bit about it, she thought, you know what, a great place would be King Cole, because we actually cover off both the agribusiness side, the farm side, and also the processing side. So, yeah, I'm excited about the program, and we will definitely be looking at it. What if there's a good fit for us.
Do you know of like anything at your business right now that would require like planning for
we're-
the programs are going to offer?
Yeah, I don't actually know, because as I said, I just heard about what kind of things they were funding. I mean, we've got a lot of different initiatives, and we were looking at some grant opportunities before this that we didn't have any fits for. So, we'll be looking at everything that we do, and we've done a pilot project with an aqua wetland. That has an appeal to us. So we might relook at that again if there's some funding available. We'll have to see.
All right, thank you everyone for coming today. There's some refreshment over on the sideboard.